Greetings, mortals. I am Natus, one of the rulers of the underworld, or specifically the ruler of manga Hell. And today we will be reacting to the newest chapter of My Hero Academia, chapter 326, titled Those Who Defend, Those Who Violate. I feel like there is a context here that's absolutely necessary, otherwise people are gonna take in a very wrong direction. But I'm a devil, so that's not my jurisdiction. Now is it? So yeah. Anyways, let's get to this chapter because something tells me it's gonna be a very all around type of chapter. So we start this chapter off with a different perspective from the viewpoint of how Bakugo is currently laying on the ground while Bash Genius is looking at him. As then we have someone having a flashback word bubble saying, with Bakugo saying, I made a pledge. It's very clear that in the flashback. This is also something that he said in the flashback. As then he says that I will achieve absolute victory every time, as we see the Class 1A versus Class 1B side when he said that during the his round. As he says that again with, we are taking this 4-0 now casualties, as we see a close-up of Monoma, Aizawa, and Manuel's group as Monoma is like shocked as he's again remember that the final number word from Bakugo, the strong don't stand for anything less, as Monoma is like, no way, it wasn't meant to go like this, as he's like starting to sweat. I mean, good news, there's more water to keep his eyes dry. As everyone goes, this can't be! As we get another shot of Bakugo's eyes on the ground as his like spurts blood as his card's like still next to him. It's kind of mangled. It's like we see one where we actually do still see pupils and still open eyes, but I think that's actually what happens with everyone with that. Is there a Bash Gina still looking over him there? As then we see like Shiroki in the far back there with like a bunch of limbs all over the place. As there we have Bashir saying, no pulse, his heart is ravaged. Which is a thing, the fact how his heart blew up in the last chapter. Like, you get an x-ray, and you're like, boom! So we also get the no pulse thing, which some people, which to be fair, in manga is like worthless, no pulse, but the heart is kind of a big thing. And when you see Monoma like kind of stagger a bit, it's like, it's not, it's if nothing else until me, as then please remember his words in the last, I think in the last 2 chapters or 3 chapters, I think to himself, if nothing else until Midori shows up, we'll protect everyone. And then he thinks to himself, no way, damn it. As you know, the closest person to Bakugo is that, while a few chapters ago he thought, oh, we will not let anything happen. As all just being shocked as he stares there. As we have all for one, no, scientists speak with, this time, he's truly dead. Since you took a backseat this round, you turned out to be quite a letdown, Eraser. Referring to the beginning of this fight, where how he was disappointed with Aizawa's role here. And then we have, it's like, all four start saying, no, then, who's next? As then Aizawa's trying to him, this utter monster. Also, while he's saying that, he like what I think, yeah, his left side has like a bunch of like hands and fingers and eyes just burning from it, as the hand side's normal, but his face is actually like kind of like almost like Two-Face, where the side where his arm is normal is looks similar to like how All For One's head looked like, while the other side has like normal Shiroki hat and hair and all that. And then he says that we have like Majiki getting ready for maybe he's coughing off blood or something. And then we have Mirio going there for a slice as he's using his gravity, well, his face shifting. Then we have Neji on the floor, looking like she's trying to pull up as much power as she can. And then we have Bash Genius pulling out his fibers out. Now, this is some question about is Bash Genius trying to do something? Will he save Bakugo's life? I don't know. Maybe I could see again. Like the thing is, it's like if Bakugo dies, I don't see a problem there. It's more of a when will it? When will is this like isn't this too early for it or stuff like that. But we'll see if that's gonna happen. I mean, it could just be like one of those things. Like I'll see like what he was thinking. Like wait a minute, blood body has fibers. I can manipulate those and finish it. And with boost of my clothing, maybe it can work. Like I feel like just like desperately at this, it could just be more desperation. Honestly, it's like it's work. Anyways, they have all for one going uh, looking at Miracle, and she says, "Who wants to be another present for Zukumi Doria?" As some of the hands are like holding Miracle, as they're like ripping the robot arm from Miracle, as her robot leg is already ripped. As in Miracle, where she's like being I guess like a little bit of shaken or a bit like well actually she gets like a she like is to do like a hip trying to like get it up and she's like back then if only I could have murdered you. I've been one hop faster. Thinking back to the the kick that she gave, and then she like apparently she like went to bite off one's hand and like trying to rip it like with her mouth, and it's coming over. Which honestly, I feel like it's probably gonna end up some bad art considering the Miracle's design. So yeah, but as then we have uh, of one listening to this as his response with, don't let it eat at you, Rumi Usugiyama. There weren't so many heroes around at that time. You were hardly the only failure. So mocking the fact that she's like, shit, I should have been faster if I was better. The but he's just like heroes are a rare breed now, and the instead you had no choice but to throw the little rookies onto the front lines. You condemned some to die. So yeah, he's mocking us, just like getting completely frustrated. Although I'm not sure what else he's gonna do because like she's basically parting his hands now. In terms of like what can she do to go against him. And then Alphonse continues with, you took the initiative and gave it your best, but you didn't come with enough people or plans. So he's basically making fun of them about their whole attack here. As then we cut to a bunch of frozen buildings, which, as you all know, means we're going finally getting to see what's happening with Shoto and Todoroki, Shoto and Dobby after the whole, after their battle, when it was like that wheel or flash of light. As then we see some rumbling, as then we see Shoto and Lida looking in shock, as then we see I believe this is Kido screaming, as he's engulfed in flames. As then we have, I think, David screaming, given how this worked out, it's actually great I fought you first. Ha ha ha! Experiencing something yourself just hits differently. Intuition helps when getting the idea of how it works. Is there a burn screaming, run, Shoto! And then we have right before you put me on ice, I took a chance to mimic your big move. Am I doing it right, Shoto? As we see the other guy, I'm forgetting his name, the guy who was always around Kido that has like a bit of horns, also being engulfed in flames, and he's like right next to Dabi, who I feel like Kido and this guy are both dead because like one thing they couldn't even handle Dabi's flames beforehand, and this mimicry of Shoto's move is like by large amount seems way more dangerous and way more powerful. And they were already out. And Kido, it was actually said, I think Kido, that he doesn't have like a resistance to it. So this fire is like really going to take him out. And the other guy, again, I don't think is gonna help. Also, I think we are actually reaching the level of Dabi being so fucking burned that we are seeing his muscles and bones. Like, yeah, I'm looking at his right hand right now, and I think those are his muscles and bones as they're being burned to smithering. And yeah, as he also has like a big fire axe around him. As then we have Shoto screaming, Onima, no! Well, okay, that's this guy's name. As then we have American, it wasn't just sheer firepower. I get it. The whole time Thor studied and trained his quirk on his own. My brother's own instincts are bolstered by his hard work and obsession. So yeah, I guess Shoto previously thought he was just like throwing his fire around. I mean, alright, to be fair, that's kind of what Dobby was doing, but you should have probably known that. I mean, he was able to like have a bit of a like an. Like, I think someone probably saw Dobby like, well, yeah, Konami probably saw him how he was like in the air using his fire. So I feel like they should have known this. Although I feel like this kind of shows like how everyone who thought Dobby was like weak or something because of the whole fire thing, and the fact he needs to talk is not probably regretting it. Because, this is clearly showing how dangerous Dobby is. And how much of a fucking corpse Dobby is. As then Dobby starts screaming, Skaptak! As then we got to that like giant gnome, that like weird gnome, like the goofy gnome, let's say, call him. And then we have like a bit of a radio coming from the top of his head. I guess the heroes still didn't manage to beat him. I guess that these numbers are higher motion buff than we really gave them credit for at the beginning. I mean, I said like he was gonna be like off-screened by the heroes' overall number. As we see like a little bit of like a microphone being active as Skepta starts speaking through. It's like, I'm busy. Don't pass to me, Mister Daddy Issues. True. As then we have the Skeptic saying, you won Endeavor. He's trading blows with All for One, real body, at the Gunga Villa ruins. So yeah, he's saying that, and also I think we're starting to see the bones from Dobby's throat. Or is it just the skeleton, or is it just the neck area? I don't know. Like, maybe I'm exaggerating the gruesomeness of this, but yeah, it does look like Dobby's looking even more and more like a fucking corpse. I mean, even fire's starting to come out from him right at this point. So yeah, I guess it's gonna be a long journey there, and I don't know if Dobby's body can like even handle this. Like, I get the body's like being. I mean, I can kind of buy the body still being able to move and all, but I don't really think it's gonna be able to last that long without that. Like, as soon as I feel like it deactivates, it probably will kill him. Anyways, there have all for one in Shigok, his body is starting to speak with the eager. The eager Izukumi Dora knew that you can't give villains a time to prepare. He was correct to rush the timetable on all this, even if his efforts still would have been in vain, referring to how they wouldn't be able to find anything. But yeah, anyways, as there we have that speaking, we see the Feel Good Inc. satellite in the air, as it's in the orbit, as there we have Skeptic unbuttoning his shirt, using every computer, tablet, anything that he has in this, wherever he is. Honestly, I first thought he was in this like satellite, but I don't think that's even possible, so probably not. But still, like, he's probably still in that like area, whatever he is. He's just is talking, he's starting to scream. The fools at my company tried to cut me like any other loss. They never did have any brains in those vacant skulls of theirs. Who do they think built this network anyway? Reclaiming authority is child's play to me. So yeah, in case you're wondering, everyone in the Feel Good Inc. wasn't working for the Liberation Front. In fact, they were trying to get rid of him as soon as it was discovered. I'm guessing the board or whatever whoever was in charge next took over. As then we have him screaming this. He also starts saying, those unintellectual lightweights flat abroad in hopes of keeping the company going. Those dullards prove that conservatism taken too far is the death of critical thinking. Oh, so we're actually going to political talking. So yeah, anyways, he's also saying that I guess this company also like have to go into a different country after this. Wow, this company really is a bunch of scumbags. As then we have Sky saying, I, on the other hand, can adapt while promoting Tomashaka's interest. I shall see Ridasho's designs realized across the globe. People will wield their meta abilities as equals. No other factor will determine who gets ahead in this world. As he's screaming that and coming at me on spasm attack, which I do want to imagine that the dub is actually carrying it, or he's having this spasm attack while everyone is doing something around him. So yeah. So yeah, which honestly this makes this guy even worse in the company. Like he's made me making fun of them, but this guy's just as big of an idiot. Anyways, they have him screaming, and all will know true freedom and anarchy marked by the absence of so-called heroes and villains. Yeah, I don't think the villains are leaving this anytime soon. As then we get like a company I'm guessing the Feel Good Company or someone else be like, we've been getting those errors. Someone's trying to hack into the system. And then you see Mandalay, and she's like, it's always getting together. Like, the reason why Mandalay couldn't contact Zuko was all because of Skeptic. As they have Skeptic screaming, all for one, go on, do as you please, as I will I. The dregs of the old order mustn't survive the revolution. So I guess he doesn't expect all for one to be able to survive it going by this wording, as then we get like a placement of the I think the blueprints that we got for the that like security system that UA got with the new safety. I guess that's now coming into play as there says him, namely those who reached and cling to their teachings of the past generations. As we see Best Genius and Endeavor there, as this guy says, they are unnecessary. The new world to come. So yeah, and then we have see a shot of the inside the buildings and facilities. And then we see like Fuyomi, Natsu, and Rei, I believe was Shoto's mom's name, as they are listening to their teacher, who's like, "Behave yourselves, boys. What if the villain were to show up?" So yeah, she's here. I guess they didn't have some. I guess that's our mind of them, which is why these guys are getting appearance before gentle. Which now I say out loud, why are these kids with their teacher? Like, I mean, I get this is like a turbulent time, but shouldn't these kids at this point like be like schools out? Kids are with their parents. I mean, that was a school, not an orphanage, correct? That was a school. I think we're almost the same age. Like, I think volume. I should probably check it later, but I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be a school. Oh, this is supposed to be not an orphanage. So I'm not sure why they're with this teacher right now, especially since they seem to not even have classes. They just seem to be like walking around. Maybe they're now using teachers as babysitters. I mean, that's probably what everyone would do in this case. I mean, everyone's coming and they have kids. We're not gonna waste our time with kids. And then we have one of the students, like the two most prominent, I would say, students or kids from this class being like one who has like a chumpy like a quirk, being like, "Don't worry, Sensei." And then we got 5 weenies on our side, referring to Shoto. As in the other guy, like the smug, monoma-looking brat, is like, "Background company as well." Which, funny enough, those two from that school in NASA, I believe was the name, and Kami actually haven't appeared yet, which is weird. Those schools haven't appeared yet, but oh well, I hope they do at least appear. Hell, maybe they're gonna get to fight those like top tier Tartarus criminals. As they have one of those two saying they're gonna win for sure. As for him, he's like, you shouldn't be so hopeful. I guess she's still worried. But yeah, she says that we see in the background two people who we've know are working for for one as they're like listening to the phones. I guess they have messaged something. Which I don't know. This looks like a I don't know. This looks like it could call for some serious conflict. And right now, these facilities have no like real powerhouses to defend them. So, just saying, a villain attack at this point would probably not be unlikely. And they did plan something like this to happen. So yeah. Anyways, then we finally got to Gunga Mountain Villa ruins. As then we have like a bit of a show of the ruins. As then we have all for one, the real body saying, My side was entirely undefensive during the last great battle. In fact, I hear you and yours kept them from accomplishing much of anything. As there we see Endeavor like holding his I guess burning his hands, Marco to say, as he's flying midair, as we have well, not Hawks showing up with I guess new katanas, flying to help Endeavor. As then Olafon says, this time not so much. As then we have Hawks being a bit shocked, like, all for one. I mean, not a bit of a panic attack as you would think you would, but I guess not everyone can get a panic attack at this point, and or is it either time for a panic attack? As they have often say, heroes are those who defend, while villains violate. I don't think that's the best word to use here, especially in a place where there is endeavor. As they often says, behold, as we plunge headlong towards our dreams, as we see in All for One's body regenerating, and but looks of things he might be shirtless. So we may or may not be dealing with a bit of a handsome man type of deal here, people. So yeah, as we see the body is getting healed, I think there are certain parts of the body who are still like falling apart and burn. Maybe those parts still haven't come into it because it's like kind of a big like wound. It's not even like a like usually how the way manga artists would do this is like have like a small little like scratch then explode, but it's not like entirety is fixed. So I feel like this fire wound may or may not be anything major. I mean, it's still not it's gonna heal eventually, but I'm not exactly sure. I mean, the violence do usually heal randomly. I mean, how even the paranoid now is completely different. I mean, how it seems like his chest is being healed before even his entire head is getting healed, or the other side of the face. So yeah, this is gonna get our sort of face reveal for All for One, which is pretty, it may not be intimidating, but still. Oh my god, like, how the fuck are they gonna be able to fight All for One in their currently damaged state? Or are they gonna be able to fight against Dobby even in their current state? Like, these villains are currently, like, just starting their second form, their monstrous second forms, who they seem to actually be able to fight even better than previously. And the heroes seem to be on their last legs already. So yeah, things are not looking good. So yeah. Let's go into this is another chapter, so let's start talking about what could happen next. Well, I feel like I'm not sure if we're gonna focus on any of these ones here, like the battle against Shigaraki. Like we've been focusing on that battle for some time now, so I feel like it's time for us to like, for this fight to not feel tedious, cut away from it to focus on something else. I mean, there's still Toga, and hopefully there will still be a focus on Spinner. So you could say one of those is gonna get an ending. No, I mean it would make sense that Togas gets an ending. Not or we focus on ending that conflict right now, especially since there's still other villains. Hell, maybe that's what we're gonna do. No, we're gonna focus on defeating those Stardust escapees and some other Nomus. Maybe also or maybe maybe next chapter is also gonna be like a kind of a cut around to see what every other villain is doing, like what Spin is doing, what Toga's doing, what Izuku is fighting, what Oriyama and that escapee. I don't know. Maybe we'll see that. Well, we're gonna see some other positions of some of these villains, and most likely the reaction of the heroes because this is like very short, and you gotta have to figure out what they gotta do now. So yeah. Anyways, I hope you like this chapter reaction. I hope you leave your thoughts in this chapter in the comments below. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more videos in the future. And with that said, I cannot wait to see all of you mortals next time. Goodbye.